So tonight I will tell you the story of the Huberto horrors. Yes. Johnny was a good boy. He had done everything the Panthers had asked him to do. He was one of the most famous popular players on the team. The fans love him and the chickies could not get enough of him. One day, he was at a pool party. The girls were in the bikinis, the music was playing, the DJ was spinning over and over. It was a beautiful thing, and then his phone rang. Huh? Who's calling me so late on a Friday night? Johnny picked up the phone, and it was the Zito man. And the Zito man said to him, Johnny, I have some news for you. And Johnny said, what? And the Zito man said, pack your shit. You're going to Calgary. The Johnny man, stunned, apoplectic. What? What do you mean? I'm at the pool party. The bikinis, the girls, the boats, the beach. What do you, Calgary? And the Zito man said, I'm sorry, my friend, but there is a younger, better, hungrier version of you, and we have traded you for him. Johnny went on an expletive rant, yelling and screaming, and he hung up on the Zito man. But that was just the beginning of the Huberto's horror story. Then, over the course of the next year, Johnny would experience the worst pain he could have ever imagined. Not only did he completely crater in his ability to play hockey, but the replacement won over the hearts of everybody. The fans, the general manager, the coaches, and most importantly, the chickies with the bikinis at the party. Now he was the one known as Chucky, and he would go to the parties and have the boats and have the chickies and the bikinis, and everybody screaming his name and crying, Chucky, Chucky, we love you. He would even, on his own home ice, win a truck that only Huberto could dream of winning. Then as the season went on, it became more and more apparent that the Chucky was going to do things that the Johnny could never do. And he did. The Johnny had the worst year of his career ever, while the Chucky had the best year ever. And even though the Chucky did not finish the complete job in the end, this did not diminish the horror for the Johnny the Huberto. He was distraught and depressed, and you could see it on the play on the ice. Now, a new year has arisen, and tonight the Panthers return to the scene where it started, against Boston. But this might be the year where Chucky sees some horrors. Last year it ended very, very scary for him, and he has yet to round into form. And you can rest assured of one thing. The big bad Boston Bruins are going to do everything imaginable that they can do to make sure that the Panthers tonight do not get 2 points. Alright, Panther fans, here we go. So here we go against Boston. Sam Bennett is on the ice. Now, it's pre-game. It's about 10 minutes before puck drop. He's on the ice. I made no promises that means he's playing. but he is dressed. He has skates on, and he's skating around on the surface. Maybe he's going to play. I don't know. We'll believe it when we see it. Hopefully, it's still, it still could be one of those game time decisions. Can you get out there and loosen up? And if not, who knows? I mean, so cross fingers, right? You guys already know. You're watching this, you already know. That's how it is. So we return to the scene of the crime, and apparently Boston is not treating this like any other game. That's going to be interesting. So now Boston is way, way, way up there in the standings, and we're not. Okay, we're not. Now we're not in the business of being concerned about matching Boston. I ain't worried about first place. They could have first place for all I care. See how that went last time. And certainly we're not afraid about going into Boston and doing some damage. That said, this is not, well, really, I was going to say it's not the same Panther team, but it's not the same Boston team either. However, Boston might have addition by subtraction. They might be better. They might be better than they were last year. I mean, they're certainly on the same pace at the very least, right? So Panthers got the work cut out for them tonight. If Bennett plays, now we need to see where the real Matthew Tkachuk step up. And I know he's been slowly getting better each game. So it's nowhere near as much of a concern now as it was game one. But I anticipate that if Bennett is in the lineup, Chucky will raise his level of play once more, and that would also mean Lundell would lose to Reinen, which is how it should be. When Lundell loses to Reinen, everything is right in the world that way. And then the only other question is Bubba. Which Bubba are we going to get? We know which Bubba we need. I don't know if it's Ullmark or Swayman. Doesn't matter. They're both allowing like a goal a game. So if we can get 2 goals, maybe we get 2 points. What do I want to see out of this game? I'm viewing this game and the Detroit game as a combined. Give me 2 of those 4 points. Okay? In terms of how it looks, I mean, you wouldn't want to lose both games in overtime. That would kind of suck, right? But give me 2 points out of those 4. That's bare minimum now, okay? Of course, I'd like 3, love 4. But let's be realistic. Detroit's kind of been slipping a little bit. So if we can get 2 tonight, you don't want to sit there and think you can win both, but why not? Why not? We'll see how it goes. All right, we're streaming. It's Halloween tomorrow. By the time the recap's up, it might be already Halloween. So, boo. So it's 2-0 Panthers after 1. Now, normally in the Halloween special, what I do is we change costumes every period. However, we outshot Boston, I think 19-6. I'm not changing a thing, okay? So it's just not happening. I'm not taking this wig. I may never take this wig off if this game continues this way. Holy crap! The only reason it's not at least 4-0, conservatively 4-0, is Ullmark has made some ridiculous saves. Now, Boston's coach, Montgomery, had made a comment about how our summer was miserable because of these guys, and this is not just one of 82 games, etc., etc. I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know if this is... I said, I don't know what team this is, and Kyle says, this is the Panthers with Sam Bennett. Completely different personality on the ice. They're laying hits. We're forechecking. We're back-checking. We're just being general assholes like we were in the playoffs. And Boston was clearly not prepared for us to play this way. Now, it's only 2-0, okay? Ullmark is keeping him in the game. Bob's had to make a couple of saves. But Ullmark has made at least 2 or 3 saves. It should easily be 4 or 5-0 if it wasn't for him. So, as you guys know, I'm not supposed to praise the goaltender in the middle of the game, but Ullmark is just playing so spectacularly well. All right, let's move on to second period, please, Panthers. Please, please, in the immortal words of Darryl Hall, baby, please, please, please keep this up. And then I can get back a minute and a bit, and the and then I just come back to the yeah, because and the minute it's a big one on the bed. It is there. Because the bit, the bit, there. I get some better. I didn't get that better. I can do it. This is it. But it content about that.
We are going to overtime!
Shit. All right, so look, I said give me a minimum of 2 points on the road trip. Now I want 3 points on the road trip because I want to beat Detroit. Not much has changed when you take everything into consideration here. And I know people are pissed off about the power play. But the power play over here on the shelf, I'll get to it. But for the rest of the deal, Boston, we've got no Ekblad, we got no Montour. We lose Bennett halfway through the game, right? We lose Ekman Larson for the end of the third period and the entire overtime. We're on the road. Boston has basically specifically said that they're pissed off and they're going to take this game out on us. And it took them to a minute left or 30 seconds or whatever was left in overtime. They finally beat Bob and they get the extra point. Not much has changed, okay? Put these two teams, especially if the Panthers are healthy, put those two teams on the ice and don't even bother. And if they meet in the playoffs, just start the series at overtime at Game 7 because that's where it's going to go. So just back and forth, Bob, Ullmark, Bubba, Ullmark, Bob. Just great goaltending battle. Both guys making a lot of saves. Ullmark having to make definitely a few more saves. All right, so let's get to the not so good. The Sam Bennett thing. Jeez. Will we get a period and a half out of the guy? And what's so frustrating is the difference in this team with Sam Bennett at 2C is so palpable. Now, from my perspective, I'm not a doctor, okay? But that ankle, to me, I thought I saw the ankle bend. Some people think it was the knee. I kind of thought it was more of an ankle thing. Whatever it was, it didn't look good. It didn't look good. He was able to skate off with a little bit of assistance, kind of under his own power. But bottom line with Sam Bennett is, and this is not a knock on him. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying move on from him. I'm not saying any of those things. That said, Anton Lundell, it's really time for the full development here. And I know he's a 22-year-old kid, but this is his third season, and that Bennett injury looks like, I don't want to put the bad juju on there, but we already know Bennett has trouble healing, right? I mean, how many times has he been day to day? That turns week to week and it turns into a month. So, as far as I saw, that looked like a longer term injury, like at least 2 weeks to a month. Maybe I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. Bennett's out there skating tomorrow. He's fine. It was just a sprain. I would love that, but that didn't look that. I saw something bend that shouldn't be bent. So we have to move on for however long he's gone, and you need Anton Lundell at that point to step up. Now he doesn't play. He's not playing bad. Lundell is functioning well within that line. But the problem is, and this is not going to change with Lundell because he's not that kind of player, but you put Lundell, Verhaeghe, Tkachuk, you've got one guy that even plays a little bit physical. Lundell's really not a physical guy, and Verhaeghe really not a physical guy. So you've got Tkachuk on that line kind of by himself with two very offensive, what's the word? Nuanced players, not physical players. So it looks better than it did with Luosterainen and those two guys, but they're going to have to find their game. I don't know if you make a change, if you move Verhaeghe around. I don't know what you do there, because I think you just got to figure out a way to make it work. We're not scoring a lot of goals. We're not allowing a lot of goals. One thing that this team definitely misses, not so much on the defensive end, because the defense has obviously been good. We miss Brandon Montour's points, 73 points last year. Okay? We're not getting a ton. I know Kulikov has some assists, but we're really not getting the offensive production from the blue line that we were getting last year, because Montour was just shooting the puck all over the place, and he was either scoring or deflections were going in, and he was getting assists. So that's one thing that we definitely really miss. The defenses looked fine, right? Mahur Balinskis looked pretty good. Of course, Balinskis was on the ice in overtime. I'm not blaming him, but it did so happen to be that's when Boston scored their goal. But maybe he was on the ice because Larson was hurt. Now, Larson took a dirty-ass cheap shot to the head. It was a match penalty, and it wouldn't surprise me if there was a suspension, but that don't help us none if Larson is out with a concussion at all, because now that's our top pair, and at that point, if Larson is out, we're going to put Mikkola up there with Forsling. Who are you going to put up there with Forsling? You see what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think Mahur is ready to take on that responsibility. Balinskis isn't really ready. And then you got Mikkola and Kulikov. So, unless you're going to just pull Mike Riley off the bench or call up somebody from the AHL and just throw him up there next to Forsling, I think you'd have to put Mikkola up there if Larson is out. I don't know what other direction you go. That's going to be a problem if he's out for any length of time. We'll see how that works out. And then, look, the fourth line did what it could do. I mean, Boston's a good team. Florida's a good team. They played through a 2-2 tie. Overtime is not the same as overtime in the playoffs. 3-on-3, usually somebody scores. It wouldn't have mattered, because if we go to the shootout, I mean, I love Bubba, but let's face it, Ullmark is pretty damn good right now. So I don't think we would have won that shootout either. So we get 1 point. It's not the end of the world. We had a good time. The stream was fun. Halloween is tomorrow. I finally get a night off tomorrow, because remember, we had this Panther game Saturday. Then Kyle and I did all day yesterday with football. Then we had the Panther game tonight. So I'm kind of looking forward to just sitting around tomorrow night and getting inebriated and watching scary movies. We're going to have ice cream, and we're going to have some Reese's peanut butter cups inside the ice cream, and I'm just going to cease to exist at some point. So if you're waiting for an email from me or a response to a text, you might wait till Wednesday, because tomorrow, after the review with Stu in the morning, I may not be too functional. Well, and the podcast. I have a Monday through Friday podcast for members, Patreon supporters. Links are in the description. It's $3 a month. And the reviews with Stu are live at 8 o'clock in the morning for the members and Patreon supporters, and then we put it out on the channel a little bit after that. Bob looked good. Top line looks really good, but we didn't get a lot of goals, right? I mean, we had a lot of chances, played a hell of a first period. If it wasn't for Ullmark, it would have at least been 3-4-0 at the end of that first period. And then we kind of closed up, tried to hold the lead, and we couldn't. And then we played for overtime. We got the point, and we almost made it through the shootout. But like I said, I don't think it would have mattered anyway. I think we would have lost in that shootout. So Maurice is doing what he can with the pieces that we have, okay? Nobody said we were going to win the Stanley Cup with Balinskis on the ice in overtime. All right, you see what I'm saying? We got to stop losing guys. We're waiting to get our guys back. We keep losing guys. And those are two pieces we can't afford to lose. I mean, Bennett, we've already been without him. We know that we can tread water without him. Losing Larson, though, at this point, I don't leave a comment what you think. If Larson is out for any length of time. I mean, Forsling, Mikula, Mahura, Kulikov, Belinsky's Riley. God, oh, gee, please. Hopefully Larson's okay. Let's all put the good juju out there that Larson is okay. We got a couple of days, right? So if he passed concussion protocol tonight, now he wouldn't be able to come back. Excuse me, because when he got hurt, I think they got to be off for 10 minutes. I think that's the number. So when he got hurt, he really wouldn't have been able to come back for the third period, but he didn't make it on the ice for overtime, so we'll see. All right, Panther fans. Hope you enjoyed my 8th annual Halloween special. It's a shame we didn't end with 2 points, okay? We get 1. If we can somehow squeak 2 out of Detroit, those are the important points. Getting point at Boston, missing all the guys we've got with Boston, with coming in all with the motivation to kick our ass tonight. I'll take it. I'll totally take it. Keeps us even, Steven. Okay? Tread water till our guys get back. Not concerned. All right, Stu and I will see you in the morning. And then, yeah, I'm going to take after we're going to do the review, we're going to do the podcast, and then I don't exist after about 3 o'clock tomorrow. I'm not even going to know my own name at that point.